Good to be with you. Mitch here from Business Depot Financial Planning. Today talking about insurance inside super, specifically total and permanent disability insurance. And I want to identify with you something that's often overlooked, and that is what happens when your claim is paid and what can you expect the case to be. Now, when it's the case that your super fund has owned your TPD insurance and a claim is now paid, depending on your age, and let's focus on those below the age of 60 for today's sake, you can expect a taxed element on most occasions. It's just what the government do. It's a moving beast in that depending on when your last day of work was from the injury or illness, the eligible service date that you may have started the fund or that's been calculated inside that fund, and indeed your future years to age 65 will really determine how much tax may be withheld by the super fund of your TPD proceeds. Often this is not known by clients or remembered by clients until the event occurs, which is obviously not ideal. So what to do? Well, really the conversation you need to have with yourself in the first instance, right back when you started the super fund, right back when you need to be thinking about insurance many years prior, is the trade-off conversation. And that is, do I want my super fund to fund my insurance premiums? Do I want to fund them personally? And the conversation really comes down to know your cash flow. It's a conversation for another day. The deductibility of premiums to the super fund often is, again, overlooked, and that's a benefit to the super fund and indeed your money, which is your super fund as well, versus the tax proceeds that you could expect to pay if and when a claim is paid under TPD. So where to from here? Ultimately, you need to think about in the event of a claim, there's three options you got to choose from. Most commonly, the money's withdrawn. You need the funds to fund debt reduction or accommodate the costs that you're experiencing from the TPD claim. Options also often include the super fund offering you an income stream. That could be over time or indeed for many years ahead. Now, the trap there is whether or not they want to reassess that claim each year that the monies are released versus having the option to release it regardless. You've been assessed once and that's retained if that was the case. And number two, depending on your age and the requirements at the time, you may be able to leave it inside your super fund for years ahead or maybe into your retirement, which may have a different tax outcome that would be beneficial to you. All of this won't be known to you until you go and claim when that day may occur. The most important thing out of this is a trade-off conversation, not to leave the conversation for claim time, but pre-assess it yourself and think, well, what happens if I have a claim? How would I like to see my money paid to me? And what can I expect the tax element to be? Am I accepting that? Or do I need to gross up the sum insured to accommodate the tax that my fund might need to accommodate to the ATO? Of all of this, the most important thing with having insurance inside super is to do three simple things. Take an active interest in your super fund and your insurances. I know what they are and how they're going to respond to you in your time of need. Retain control is really about, with the correct super fund structure, you can retain better control than perhaps with other super fund structures. And that really comes down to whether it be self-managed, whether it be a retail fund, an industry fund, know how they react and what their trustee requirements are and what they're going to offer you or not offer you in your time of need. And number three, know your cash flow. If you understand your cash flow, it may be beneficial to you not to fund your insurance or part of your insurance inside super and perhaps fund it personally. Leave your super fund to grow for your future retirement. All the best.